What's going on, guys? Nick Dark here. We're about to do a full chart breakdown on USDCHF. So we're here on the monthly time frame, and we're just going to kind of jump right into it. So first thing I'm going to do is turn off all my MAs, and I want to start finding support and resistance levels. So how we're going to do this is we're looking for areas where price actions touch multiple times, where it's tested both as resistance and support, areas of significance. So best way to see that, jump to the line chart for a second, find areas where we're getting a lot of reaction from, essentially. So 1.18 is looking pretty good. 1.18, this would be a monthly level. Let's just double check. So we had touch here, touch over here, touched here as well. Could this be a little bit higher? Actually, this is a better level right here. 1.2. I like that much better. Okay, so guys, always be moving things around, seeing if it makes sense, the levels that you mark. They're not gonna, their levels, their general areas, price action is not gonna exactly reverse to the pip on these levels, but you just want to find general areas where you've seen the market react multiple times. So like here, touched here, touched here, touched here, touched here a bunch of times, finally broke, tested as resistance, and then dropped. So this is another area, pretty big area. I'm gonna call it, 1.15, I believe. If this makes sense, 1.15. Call that a monthly. Let's see. Let's go back and check. Overlap. Test, multiple times. Does this make sense if it's a little bit lower? No, I kind of like where it is. Again, they're just areas. We're not necessarily looking for price action to react exactly on the pip. Okay, so this to here would be about 180 pips or so. So let's go ahead and mark that lower. Actually, I want to do this. I'm going to go ahead and get the price range tool. So you can actually do this too. It gets things, it's a little more exact. It's price range tool. Let's see if we can mark off the coordinates on it. So 1, 2, and then 1.15. Go ahead and put that in there. So 1850. Let's go ahead and move it down. Mark this next level. We'll mark this like that, and then call it 1850. Okay. So this level looks pretty good right here. It's going to be 0.83. Also a monthly level. All right. And just for the sake of it, let's just mark one more higher around here. Right at, what is it? Basically 1.39, or I like it here better, so 1.4. Nice psychological level, nice round number. That's typically how I'll mark these. And you can adjust them a little bit as they make more sense. You can see how it touched multiple times here, opposed to a little bit lower. We would have missed a couple touches, so this is definitely the better area. Also, it is at psychological level, so that's how I'll mark that. So what we want to do here is we want to split this. Let's go ahead and split it. We want to find the weekly, so which is about the middle, 1.3, 1.3, call that a weekly. Whoops. Weekly level. Keep doing this for each monthly, in between each monthlies. Monthly to monthly. Let's go ahead and mark this. Let's call it 1.1075. Weekly, and then always be checking, right? So then, does this weekly make sense? Yes, it touched, price action reacted here, price action reacted here multiple times. Same with this weekly, reacted here and then reacted again here. So that's valid. Let's go ahead and do it one more time for down here. Right in the middle of this. Let's see what 92 looks like. 0.92 makes a lot of sense. It's touched multiple times there. This is the weekly. Okay, see, let's take a look. Touch there, reacted here again, reacted pretty closely there. Okay, so that's enough levels. So now we've gone ahead and gone back to the candlestick chart. We could see that we've marked plenty of monthly levels, plenty of weekly levels. It all looks like it makes a lot of sense. So the most important level here, I would say, for current price action would be this level. So I'm going to go ahead and just highlight this zone right here. It's a big, big level. Make this structure, because this is a structure level, as well as a key resistance for monthly. Big level. So you can see this was key support here. It tested multiple times. Little fake out here, pulled back, finally broke, tested once, twice, 3, 4, whole bunch of times. So this is a very, very strong level. So it's good to mark that. Let's see if we can identify a quick pattern in here. Looks like this is ascending, right? Here's a lower low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So then we can go ahead and put this little trend line here. Make this black and then extend it. So this is looking like it's a little ascending triangle in here, right? Price action is consolidating, it's getting wedged, and now we're seeing a whole bunch of dojis. Look at all these. This is a monthly chart. Look at all these dojis in here. A lot of indecision. So now we can start dropping down time frames. We can already see off the bat that this monthly is super bearish, super bearish. So it is very likely that we could see a continuation on this time frame. But we're going to drop down time frames. We're not taking entries on a monthly. We're just going to zoom in, and kind of see where we're at. All right, so this is the weekly. Okay, a lot of consolidation. Let's drop down again to current price action, closer to current price action. So we're going to the daily time frame now. All right, so we can start identifying some key levels here. So this was a key level. This monthly was right here. I'm sorry, on this daily time frame, this was a key support. Finally broke, tested again, and then continued to drop. So we are, more bearish than anything else. Clearly, lower high, high, lower high, lower high in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and mark up a little bit of structure. See if we can find a pattern. So yes, clearly very bearish. Right, let's go ahead and mark this off. Looking pretty good around the 0.96 area. I'm really big on these psychological levels because it helps identify areas of significance. There may be a lot of orders here as well, but it is better to identify a zone as just a clear whole number rather than a very specific. Let's say it was like 231. Because then you're like looking for I'm looking for 96.231. It's like it's not necessarily that specific. It's the area in itself. So I'm looking for nice whole numbers pretty much all the time. This is a nice little descending triangle in here. So this is looking pretty good so far. Daily time frame. I kind of want to get a fib on this though. Let's see what we're looking at. So this is also actually the start of the lower high. So this is the high, this is the lower high over here, and it actually touches both of these. So this is a nice bearish trend here on this daily time frame. Nice bearish trend here. And we're looking to get all the way down towards this trend line here. So this is essentially, let's go to the weekly. So we want to get down to this trend line, potentially break this level and go lower. So USDCHF, it is consolidating like crazy in here. Let me see if I can find another level on the weekly. I want to see if there's a major zone that we need to see break. Probably be more of a daily. Let's go to the daily for a second. All right. Notice how I'm just taking my time with this. I'm not trying to rush anything. I just want to make sure that it's really correct, that my analysis is spot on. So this is a pretty big level here. All right. Every time it's come into here, we've seen some sort of reaction, which makes a lot of sense because that's currently where price action is right now. Okay. This is more or less a supply zone, a demand zone. Supply would be up top here. This is more or less demand. Every time it comes in this area, we'll get huge rejection, rejection here. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, let me extend this a little bit more. So essentially, we're looking for, so every time it's come to this area, we've seen a lot of rejection. Even though this is a descending pattern, we still haven't broken this level. So right here, I'm gonna go ahead and put a price label. This level right here, 0.96, is a lot of significance. This is an established level of support, as well as this major zone down here. This blue zone we just highlighted, the support zone. This all in here is pretty significant. So price action is just reacting. There is a lower time frame zone right here. Lower time frame break of structure. Looking like, where is it? Pretty much just right here. I'm going to go ahead and put this blue line in. Call it 110. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So where we want to go from here is lower, right? Assuming we're going to stick with the sentiment, we want to see essentially strong rejection in the next few days and then a push lower. Push lower like that. Okay, let's go ahead and throw a fib on this. It's going to be a daily fib from this candle right here. It's a conviction candle down to the low. 38.2 would be right in this pocket here, which lines up with our broken structure. So this is a good entry area right in here. And then we could target down towards the negative 27, potentially down towards the negative 1, negative 61.8. So this is looking pretty good so far. Definitely bearish. We're seeing everything we want to see, which is really nice. We're getting a lot of bearish confirmations. Again, this is a descending triangle pattern, so we could definitely see it fall out here. Just want to see this level break. Let's see how many pips this is. Roughly about 150 pips. So for the short term, this is where we want to go. If we do get below this, then obviously we'll be looking for a continuation lower outside of this pattern. So let's say we get down to the 61.8. We want another pullback, maybe a test of this trend line right here, and then a continuation downward towards this weekly. That's basically what we want to see, is a large push into a higher time frame push, pullback, and then a continuation again. In which case, we redraw the fibs. Let's say we hit that 38.2 right here. We draw it from there down to the new low, and then you'd be looking for that 38.2 or 61.8 golden level. Let's go ahead and drop time frames for a second. Kind of get a little bit closer to where our entry would be. Okay, so forget this larger move now. We want to get this short-term move first, and then we can kind of dive into that larger move. Okay, so let's check fibs again. This makes sense. Check fibs again. Yeah, we're going to draw it from here. Boom. To the low. High to the low. Looking good. Little double bottom action actually right here. It's pulling back. Finding some rejection at the 38.2. Nice bearish engulfing. Nice bearish engulfing right there. I'm going to jump to the 1 hour in a second and show you guys that. Let me bring these fibs in for a second. Bring them in. So guys, again, this is just, these full chart breakdowns are kind of just for educational purposes, showing you guys how I zone in on price, looking for these entries, kind of top-down analysis, working my way through the time frames, seeing everything, making sure everything's set up correctly, seeing things that I like, and then I can drop down and kind of see what price action's doing. So okay, right now this is looking pretty good. I like the way this looks actually. Very good. I'm going to zone off. Yeah, so we're looking to get down to, again, the negative 27. From this current area down to the negative 27, and then potentially even lower. Ideally, we want to see it get outside of this zone. So if it closed at the negative 27, that's not significant closure below support to play into that higher time frame daily move. I want to see it get down to the 61.8 and then a pullback. So let's go ahead and put a quick range on this. Right, about 150 pips. Let me show you what this trade would look like. So this engulfing, wouldn't potentially... It wouldn't necessarily be a bad entry, but I'm going to get to the 1 hour and kind of figure out for you guys and show you guys why we don't enter on the 4 hour and how this could be, how we could wait for a couple more confirmations potentially. But just for the sake of analyzing here, I want to show you guys how we're going to protect ourselves here. So 50 pip stop loss, which is well into this pattern. So if it pulls back, then this was not a confirmed break and retest, right? So it needs to hold at this level. This is a break of structure. Break of support, right? And also 38.2 retracement. So there's a lot of confluence here. I'm actually going to put these fibs back on. Right? It came back through the MAs, and then it's coming back down. So this is looking pretty good so far. It's looking like it formed a true structure, and it's going to give us a potential MA cross. So I would have liked this engulfing to be a little bit bigger. But nonetheless, we're going to drop time frames in a second. So essentially, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at, call it 130. I'm going to call it 130 pips. So we're risking 50 pips to gain 130 in this scenario. And this is a 2.6 risk reward. So very good. Very, very good risk reward. If we're only targeting the negative 27, it's only a 1.6. You know, for it to make sense, your stop loss would need to be about 40 pips, which is still a decent stop loss. You know, actually, we're going to stick with this one instead because 50 pips is a little deep. That'd be at another golden level right by the 200 EMA. So I'm going to leave it here at 40 pip stops, and we're looking to get down to the negative 61. Again, about 130 pips lower. So more like a 3.25 risk to reward. Looking pretty good. This is a pretty textbook trade. Let's go down and drop to the 1 hour, see if this makes sense. Okay. Just for the sake of aesthetics, I'm going to get rid of this. Get rid of this arrow, bring this in a little tighter, fix these fibs. Again, you just want things to be simple. You want your chart to be, you know, readable, pretty simple for the most part. Just bring this in a little tighter. Okay, cool. Now we can expand a little more. So on this 1 hour, we can clearly see that this 200 EMA is right here. It's coming down, it's downward sloping, definitely in a bearish trend. 38.2 retracement again. Nice evening star. Very, very nice evening star. Could have potentially taken an entry on that alone. Pretty much no wick, good rejection, plenty of confirmation in that, and then your stop loss actually could have been a little tighter. Could have been like a 30 pip stop, right? In which case, you know, you could target the negative 27, close some profits there, and then let the rest run to, toward our 61.8, which would be a 4.6 risk reward. Here it's almost a 3.0. So definitely a really good trade actually, right in this area. So again, this is USDCHF. So what do we want to see for it really to continue? You know, maybe a nice bearish engulfing right here. If we do see a nice bearish engulfing happen right here, you can take this trade. Call it 40 pips, target lower, right? Something like that. Or we could see it pull back just a little bit more to about this area. So just a retest of this last broken area right here. Right, I've retested the MAs. I tested this area right here. And then, which is pretty much there already, but you know, you just want to get a little bit of a pullback, maybe a wick, just that extra level of, you know, exhaustion. Show that extra confirmation, an exhaustion candle with a nice bearish engulfing. Yeah, reason enough to enter. And then we're targeting down here. So this is what we're looking at. Something just like this. Call it 35. I like the way this looks now. There you go. Just take profit 35, and then again we said, was it 130 in this area? Just about. We can actually extend this a little more. We're looking at 135. Okay, 135. All right, guys. So this is. Whoops, moved it slightly. All right. So there it is. This is USDCHF. Again, we started at the monthly. We worked our way all the way down to the 1 hour here, and now we're just waiting for these confirmations. So quick recap on this: 35 pip stop. We have broken structure that we're retesting now. We have a retracement to 38.2. 200 EMA is there. We have an evening star, MA cross, lower time frame breaks of support, and now we're just waiting for that, you know, final engulfing potentially, something just to give us that extra bit of conviction before we go short. And then yeah, so 35 pips, we're risking to gain 135. It's a 3.86 risk to reward. So guys, that's a full chart breakdown for USDCHF. See you in the next one.